Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The insanity continues. I know that's going to be a surprise to most everybody.
Welcome to the day.
Sanity be completely restored by now. I mean,
did you?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I think everybody did. You know, what is it? It's May 6th already. Let's restore sanity. Nope, not going to happen.
No.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other progressive lawmakers are calling for the creation of a 1.5 million strong group of civilians to work on federally funded projects addressing climate change.
Oh, this sounds good.
It's just part of the sweeping Green New Deal legislation. That's all. That sounds really good. A civilian climate corps. They'd receive on-the-job training and work with community groups on initiatives to reduce carbon emissions, enable a transition to renewable energy, build healthier and more resilient communities, implement conservation projects with proven climate benefits, and help communities recover from climate disasters.
Make it stop, Pat. No, man. Come on.
I wish I could. I really wish I could make it stop, but I don't believe that I can. The Civilian Climate Corps would fall under the purview of the Corporation for National and Community Service, an independent government agency that also runs AmeriCorps and other national service initiatives. The group would seek to employ 1.5 million Americans over 5 years, calling for coordination between the federal government and local organizations, including unions. The plan draws inspiration from the New Deal era Civilian Conservation Corps, which I loved. I think everybody did. A public relief program established during the Great Depression that gave unemployed young men jobs relating to the conservation and development of government-owned rural lands.
Make work.
Yeah, right. Government creating government jobs. What we're going to do is make sure communities like Flint, Baltimore, the South Bronx, St. Louis, rural communities whose infrastructure was never properly built in the first place are first in line to rectify the injustices of the past and make sure they get everything they need to thrive in the future, according to Ocasio-Cortez. At least 50% of the funding can be reserved for environmental justice.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Communities which would also provide at least 50% of the Civilian Climate Corps members. Another 10% of funding would be reserved for tribal communities.
Oh, so we got basically green narcs in every town and every community, making sure that everybody is following the green New Deal and all of the parameters therein that will control your life. That's going to be awesome.
Isn't it, though? And it's a little reminiscent of, I can't find it, but Obama's, we can't just have military. We need a civilian force, right? A civilian military force that's just as strong, just as powerful, just as well-funded as the U.S. military. That's kind of what this reminds me of.
And Americans will go along with this. They will be like, well, I mean, I love the environment. I don't care. I mean, it's kind of like I'm not doing anything wrong. Why do I care if there's people looking over my shoulder? I'm throwing my can in the recycle bin.
Right. Exactly.
This is
exactly
bad, America.
EPA, the EPA ruled to phase out gases used in refrigerators and coolants. So we're back to the EPA banning stuff again.
Yes, we are.
After 4 years of having a little bit of a break from it with Trump, keeping the EPA in check. Now, of course, they're completely out of control again. In the first Biden administration rule aimed at combating climate change, the EPA is proposing to phase down production of the use of hydrofluorocarbons. Hydrofluorocarbons, highly potent greenhouse gases, commonly used in refrigerators and air conditioners.
Yeah, the Civilian Climate Corps would not like your refrigerator or your washing. By the way, now's the time to buy your large appliances before these regulations continue to cramp your way of life.
That's for sure. The proposed rule follows through on a law Congress passed in December authorizing a 15-year phase-out of HFCs. The new rule is intended to decrease U.S. production and use of gases by 85% over the next 15 years, part of a global phase-out intended to slow climate change. Climate change. HFCs are considered a major driver of global warming and are being targeted worldwide. President Biden has pledged to embrace a 2016 global agreement to reduce them. With this proposal, EPA is taking another significant step under President Biden's ambitious agenda to address the climate crisis. I love how by the way, it's a climate crisis, it's a climate emergency. Mm-hmm. That's how they always refer to it now.
Yeah. Who was the magazine that got on board and said, now we're not going to say climate change anymore. We're going to call it a crisis because that's what it is. I don't want to throw them under the bus without being, I think it's Popular Science, but I'm not positive. Somebody said that's the only term we're using now.
Pathetic. It's pathetic. We talked about this yesterday. CNN talking about a dangerous cultish devotion that the GOP has to Donald Trump and how dangerous it is to our democracy. Well, yesterday we went into the cult-like devotion the left has with abortion. Today we should talk about Gaia and their cult-like psychotic, not psychotish, but psychotic earth worship and fear-mongering. That's really unlike most anything we've ever experienced before. You know, it's really tempting to call global warming or climate change a hoax. But I try to avoid that temptation because if you do call it a hoax, they just label you a kook. So I try to admit, has the earth warmed? Well, yeah, a little. It's gone up maybe a degree in 50 years. Is it catastrophic? Or is it a crisis? Or is it a climate emergency? Absolutely not. It's not even close. And that's what makes it so tempting to call global warming a hoax. Because the climate cult knows that the Earth's climate is cyclical. They know this. It's science. The planet has warmed slightly, as it's done 1,000, tens of thousands of times before. It warms, it cools. Then it goes back to where it was before. Then it warms and it cools. They also know full well that it has been much hotter on this planet during times when man wasn't even here to produce CO2. And speaking of CO2, that is a really interesting element to all of this. Because their point is CO2 is a greenhouse gas, right? And even according to the EPA, a pollutant. So CO2 drives temperature up. When you have a lot of CO2, it pushes the temperature up, and that's what they're scared of. Except that's not always the case. It also happens to be true that temperature drives CO2 up. So the temperature goes up before the CO2 does. So wait, if that's true, then logically you can't blame CO2 for driving up temperature, right?
It's a bad rap.
Because often when the temperature goes up, so does the CO2. It follows it. And Al Gore has even admitted this.
The temperature goes up before the CO2 goes up.
Sometimes that has been true in the past.
Oh.
The opposite has also been true.
Okay. Well, that ruins your entire argument. Or at least it should. But everybody just ignores that inconvenient truth. That the temperature can push up CO2. Not the other way around. But it happens both ways, so they just keep going with it. But, you know, climate cultists ignore a lot of facts, like the fact that they've been dead wrong so many times in the past. Virtually every prediction, Every climate model has been wrong. The alarmist cult is at least 0 for 50 in the prediction department. 0 for 50. But we're supposed to be in rapturous reverence for the next prediction, number 51, or we're climate deniers. Can you imagine a track record this bad and then the people are still listened to at all? You know, you think about a college football coach with an 0-50 record. Obviously, he wouldn't be a coach anymore, but he wouldn't have a job. But all these climate buffoons somehow keep their jobs. So let's say there's an athletic director dumb enough to keep a coach with an 0-50 record. And the coach comes to him and says, hey, I'm about to deliver a great season for you. Predicting an incredible, like an unbeaten season.
Oh, wow.
We're going to win the national championship. I need a raise. Or a major league baseball pitcher who's 0-50. Again, that's impossible because after the first 5 or 6 losses, he's not going to be a major league pitcher anymore. But let's say management loves him, and he comes to them and tells them, hey, I need to pitch Game 7 of the World Series this year because I'm feeling like I have great stuff right now.
Oh, you're feeling it, huh?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I really am. This time I'm going to win this. I can win this game for us.
But, I mean, it's been a rough season for
I'm going to throw a no-hitter if you just put me out there on the mound. What kind of lunatic would say, oh, okay, wow, okay, take the mound. Take the mound today. That's what we're doing with these climate people, with these cult members in this climate crisis. Nobody would do that. But that's where we are with them. To the point where leftists in Washington are ready to spend tens of trillions of dollars based on their say-so and then employ $1.5 million. What are they calling them? Climate...
Oh, they're the climate... hold on a second.
Climate...
It's the Civilian Climate Corps.
Climate Corps. Okay. Yeah, that will be really good.
I just see them wearing little green hats, marching through our streets, picking up or pointing at us. Better pick up that piece of paper and put it in that garbage bin right now. That's what I'm seeing. Well, and I also see bureaucrats sitting you down and going over your... doing an energy audit for every home in America. Mm-hmm. And making you pick up the costs. And by the way, when you talk about them spending tens of trillions, we can't say they're spending trillions of your tax dollars. We've got to start saying they're printing money and you're paying for it. That's all that I mean. They're no longer spending our tax dollars.
Right.
They're just printing dollars and then devaluing ours.
Yeah, the revenue that comes into the National Treasury, I think it's around, is it $4 trillion a year? $4.5 trillion a year? We should look that up.
I remember when...
Because we don't have it. We don't have the money that they're spending right now. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're saying they're going to pay for it with a tax increase this time. But really, they're not. Because you can't pay for it with just the tax increase on the rich. It's impossible. But these people have been wrong every step of the way, and people just keep listening to them. Is it 3? It's $3 trillion our revenue?
The last fiscal year was $3.33 trillion.
Okay. Jeez. But just for fun, let's go through some of the predictions. I think we've talked about some of these before, but these are all from supposed quality sources like Time Magazine, New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and from so-called experts like Paul Ehrlich and NASA's James Hansen. I mean, it's embarrassing. Here are some of the 50 failed forecasts. In 1967, they forecast dire famine by 1975. Is it 1975 yet?
I don't know. I have a calendar here, but I'm not sure how you check the year.
It doesn't say the year right away, does it? Right there.
See it. So I don't know
in
if we're
an
there
obvious
yet.
way. 1969, everyone will disappear in a cloud of blue steam by 1989.
What? Blue steam?
Yeah.
What was the steam from?
Yeah,
I got to look this one up. Blue steam.
Look that up. Let's see. It's in the...
I'll find it.
It's in the New York Times. It's a New York Times article.
Okay.
Is that incredible? That is crazy. In 1970, Ice Age. By 2000, Ice Age. Did we get the Ice Age by 2000? No. Also in 1970, they predicted America subject to water rationing by 1974 and food rationing by 1980. 1971, new Ice Age coming by 2020 or 2030. 1972, they predicted new Ice Age by 2070. So that actually could still happen. 1974, space satellites show new ice age coming fast. Also in 74, another ice age. I mean, this was all the rage in the 70s. 1974, one of my favorites, ozone depletion, a great peril to life, which, by the way, the ozone repaired itself. 1976, scientific consensus, the planet is cooling and famines are imminent. In 1980, acid rain kills life in lakes. Remember acid rain?
Oh, that was a big thing when I was a kid.
Yeah,
80s.
big time.
Yeah.
Big time. 1978, no end in sight to 30-year cooling trend. In 1988, the next three predictions are all from 88. Regional droughts that never happened in 1990s. Temperatures in D.C. will hit record highs. Maldive Islands will be underwater by 2018. Yeah, they're not. They're not. Rising sea levels will obliterate nations if nothing is done by 2000. That was back in 89. Also in 89, New York City's West Side Highway underwater by 2019. People are driving on the West Side Highway right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, how do you know? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not.
Oh, does your little window to the world there show you the West Side Highway in New York? No, it does not.
No, it does not.
So you're just...
You're right. Maybe
ladies and gentlemen, the host is making assumptions this
maybe
morning.
it flooded with water last night. I don't know. We'll check. We'll check on that, and we'll get back to you. In 2000, children won't know what snow is.
I love that one.
I do too.
They even... Who was it that did a speech on the floor of the Senate?
Robert Byrd.
Was it Robert Byrd?
Robert Byrd.
Oh, my gosh.
Sure did.
He was probably feeling threatened because he thought something really white was about to vanish from the earth, but I digress. I'm sorry.
In 2002, famine in 10 years if we give up eating fish, meat, unless we give up eating fish, meat, and dairy.
It's almost vegetarian.
In 2004, Britain will be Siberia by 2024. So I guess that could still happen. In 2008, Arctic will be ice-free by 2018. Climate genius Al Gore predicts ice-free Arctic by 2013. That was in 2008. In 2009, climate genius Prince Charles says we have 96 months to save the world. We apparently saved the world because here we are. UK Prime Minister says 50 days to save the planet from catastrophe. Wow. 50?
Boy.
They don't usually do that because that's too near.
That's going out on a limb.
And they're proven wrong too quickly. Yeah. Let's see. Climate genius Al Gore moves 2013 prediction of ice-free Arctic to 2014.
Oh, well, now you got it.
Yeah.
Now you nailed it,
Except no. 2013 Arctic ice-free by 2015. In 2014, only 500 days before climate chaos. Remember that predict? We talked about that a lot and counted down the days for a while.
So I think it landed somewhere in 2016.
And
then
what is it now?
Are we
beyond that?
I hate this when you do this.
Yeah,
and you put me on the spot on live TV and radio and ask me math questions. I don't know if it's been 2016 yet.
1968, overpopulation will spread worldwide. 1970, world will use up all its natural resources. Yeah, we've talked about that a few times too, including this week, I think, with the oil situation. Oil gone in 10 years in 1966. Oil depleted in 20 years in 1972.
Wait a minute. Hold on. The goalposts keep moving.
Yeah, well, because it hadn't happened in the 10 years, and so they did it. They pushed it down the road a little bit. And it still didn't happen. Department of Energy says oil will peak in the 1990s. In 1977. 1980, peak oil in 2000. 1996, peak oil in 2020. 2002, peak oil in 2010.
I love this.
I love that. That's one of my favorites. 2006, super hurricanes. And then you remember after that time, we had a 12-year pause, pretty much, in hurricanes. 2005, Manhattan underwater by 2015. In 1970, urban citizens will require gas masks by 1985.
No, they're doing that just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
In the COVID era now.
Nitrogen buildup will make all land unusable, they said in 1970. Also in 70, decaying pollution will kill all the fish, and killer bees. Then we had this from 75. The cooling world and a drastic decline in food production. In 69, they predicted worldwide plague, overwhelming pollution, ecological catastrophe, virtual collapse of UK by the end of the 20th century. Okay. But see, that's the in thing to do, is predicted by the end of the century. That gives you some time. The good thing about this one is we're past that time. So the next one they're predicting is also going to fail. I mean, there's no reason to believe any of this. 1972, pending depletion and shortages of gold, tin, oil, natural gas, copper, and aluminum. In 1970, oceans dead in a decade. The oceans were going to die in a decade. U.S. water rationing by 1974.
Oh, boy, that sounds like fun.
Food rationing by 1980. In 88, world's leading climate expert predicts lower Manhattan underwater by 2018. They loved that prediction. It just didn't happen. 2005.
Yeah, so we met, what was it? New York underwater and the peak oil.
Yes.
Are the two
favorites
recurring hits there on the old and this is what happens when you put your faith in a cult.
Thank you.
And nothing comes true. Okay?
50 million climate refugees by the year 2020. I said that in 2005. Snowfall's now a thing of the past in 2000. That was a big thing in 2000. They really thought snow was over. 1989, UN warns that entire nations will be wiped off the face of the earth by 2000 from global warming. And in 2011, the Washington Post predicted cherry blossoms blooming in winter. Somehow, none of those predictions came to fruition. Not a single one. Again, they're 0 for 50. I just saw an article with a headline this week. James Hansen, it was the NASA scientist who's wrong about everything.
Yes.
James Hansen wishes he wasn't so right about global warming.
Wait, what?
It made me laugh out loud. I mean, where do you get that? This is an AP story from 3 years ago. This guy was still claiming to be right about everything. But he wishes he wasn't so right about global warming. Well, I feel like a genie this morning because I'm granting James Hansen's wish. Ta-da! James, rest easy because you haven't been right about anything. Even as it became obvious that his predicted temperatures were getting further and further from actual temperatures, James Hansen just doubled down over the years. In 2007, he stated in a deposition most of Greenland's ice would soon melt, raising sea levels 23 feet over the course of 100 years. Now, when you put ice in a glass, and this has been talked about by scientists.
I love this.
When you put ice in a glass and that ice melts, does it overflow the glass? No, it does not.
It does not overflow the glass.
It does not overflow the glass.
However, the West Side Highway becomes impassable.
Yeah, okay? No, it doesn't.
And all this is all climate talk and all of these doomsayer predictions. All this is, and Joe Bastardi, the great weather guy, who Glenn has on quite a bit, runs weatherbell.com. He wrote a book called The Weaponization of Weather in the Phony Climate War. And it is a tool for radical policies. Mm-hmm. That's all this talk is. There's nothing happening with the weather that we need to stop everything we're doing and have this concerted effort or employ the civilian climate corps. They're just using, that's the tool. That's where the communists ran to, was the Green Movement.
Right.
After the fall of the Soviet Union.
It's so that they could pass their communist propaganda and their goals on to the next generation through climate change. That's what they're trying to do.
You take a successful capitalist economy, you throw every regulation and every fear-mongering tactic you can think of into this 50 goals scare, and you bring a society to a halt. The gears that make it work, you grind to a halt. I'm sorry, we're a capitalist country still. And look how much cleaner we are than so many parts of the world that are not. It's because when you make money, you have the money to clean up things, as opposed to let's print money and bring companies and citizens and their great way of life to their knees.
And we've done a ton of that. I mean, things used to be a lot more polluted and a lot dirtier back in the 60s and 70s, and we've done a lot of cleaning up. Companies have gotten much more aware of pollution and their contributions to pollution, and they're doing something about it because people demanded it.
People will demand
and so they are.
Local level because they don't want to step outside and breathe in soot and, you know, we've seen
dirty
the
water.
pictures.
Nobody wants that.
Right. So they will hold their local companies and their local officials accountable. But this is all big money. Follow the money. People like John Kerry, who are the climate czar now, and all the money he made in oil and gas stocks before he was given this job. They don't believe in this stuff. And it's just like with the COVID thing. They're both cults, the COVID cult or the climate cult. And it's all about you changing your behavior. They're never going to change theirs.
Still, hurricanes going to get stronger and more frequent. Be scared. Be very, very afraid, according to James Hansen. Have they? No. Have storms caused increasing amounts of damage to the U.S.? No. Data from the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, show no such increase in damage measured as a percentage of gross domestic product. Now, you're going to get higher dollar figures because of inflation, but it's the same as it's always been.
And that's what they'll say. They'll make it seem like they have facts.
Yes.
But they don't put anything into context.
How about stronger tornadoes that he predicted?
Yeah, we got those, right?
Nope. The opposite may be true, as NOAA data offers some evidence of a decline. A decline.
Big time.
So this is a huge, long, and tedious list. And it doesn't even take into account, you mentioned Joe Bastardi. There's also the incredible book by Michael Schellenberger, who debunks all this nonsense about the cataclysmic events that are going to happen in the next 10 years. First, it was 12 years. We had 12 years to do something, or we were going to be, extinct? Some people were even saying extinct. Others use the word catastrophe. So he debunks all of that stuff in his book, Apocalypse Never. And it's a great read.
Yeah.
If you want to pick that up.
Remember, we've had Gregory Wrightstone on this program before with his book, Inconvenient Facts.
Yeah. Awesome.
Where he picks apart all of Al Gore's claims. So if you've got some Al Gore disciple at the water cooler, give him the gift from Gregory Wrightstone. Oh, yeah, all that stuff you just spewed, it's debunked right here. There you go.
So who really are the cultists? It ain't us. It's not us. We're the ones who are actually looking at what you've said in the past and comparing it to what has happened, which I think seems pretty reasonable. The cultists are the ones who are sticking to it no matter what. No matter what. The meteor is, we're going to jump on that meteor, or, even if it doesn't come. We're going to keep predicting the end of the world, even when it doesn't happen. And that's what they're like. They're like these cult members that are always predicting. Who was that guy a few years ago?
Marshall Applewhite. Yes. Yeah. And Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Wear your white Nikes, right?
Right.
And then we'll see you on the comet. Exactly what they are.
How'd that work out? I think they all had to die, and then they were going to, their spirits were going to be on the comet.
Sure.
Something.
I just know that they did all have to die. Yeah. I don't know if their bodies were supposed to end up on the comet or their spirits. So maybe they're riding it right now. I don't know. Maybe the West Side Highway is underwater as we speak. We just don't know because we're not there.
We're going to check. We're going to call and find out from somebody in New York if the West Side Highway is completely submerged in the Atlantic Ocean right now. All right, 888-900-3393. We got more Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll post these. Predictions at Pat Unleashed because you want to go through this.
Yeah, go to Twitter.
It's got all the links to like Time Magazine.
Oh, perfect cross references.
So you can show that it really came from the New York Times or whatever. More coming up. Great to have you with us. Some tweets here. Biden's pants run amok. If the government is just going to print money whenever they need it, why do we need to keep paying taxes?
I like that logic.
Good question.
Sign me up.
From Hippie Patriot, Pat, I'm old enough to remember those 1970s climate predictions. I remember acid rain and the whole holy ozone. We even talked about having to wear special helmets and glasses to protect us. Yeah. Yeah, I remember those days.
Oh, my.
The ozone especially. Well, acid rain, too. I mean, both of them were huge when I was growing up.
I remember both of those. I think the first environmentally themed, now they're everywhere, commercials you'd see on TV was talking about the ozones and spraying. Oh, come on.
Fluorocarbons.
Yeah.
It was fluorocarbons,
Something
right?
like that. I don't know. Yeah, but
I think so. Anyway, what the aerosol spray thing that they used to use. And they stopped using whatever it was in it. And then
Styrofoam was on the outs too, but that's really made a comeback. Yeah. I don't know how it's made it quietly, or maybe it's just in Texas. You'll go to any grocery store and you'll just see these Styrofoam coolers above like the drink section, and you're like, huh? I thought those were on the outs.
McDonald's did switch though, didn't they, to the paper kind that they use now?
I don't know who goes there anymore.
I don't know. Tip over and capsize tweets. Did they predict the West Side Highway would be flooded or that it would tip over and capsize? By the way, we saw a traffic cam during the break.
Sure did.
And the West Side Highway does seem to still be there.
For now.
For now.
I mean, the day's early.
Right.
I mean, the day's young.
Could it flood by the end of the show? Sure.
Sure.
Sure it could. Sure. DM tweets, there's a climate crisis in AOC's head. So many brain cells crushed under the weight of her stupidity.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid it's going to tip over and capsize. Gee, your hair smells like pudding.
Oh, no.
Tweets. Speaking of things from the 70s and 80s that were going to apparently kill us all and disappeared, someone needs to check on spontaneous human combustion.
Wow, was that a thing?
I think it was.
Oh, my.
I think it was. I do remember something about that.
Okay.
That's probably not good if you were too spontaneously combust.
So I'm just thinking of the cover of the Pink Floyd album. Does that have anything to do with that, or is that something completely different, where they're shaking hands and one guy's on fire? Does that connect to the same era?
Might be. I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that. Breaking news.
Oh, gosh.
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. The police claim to have seized 260 boxes of illicit whiskey, allegedly smuggled from states in Jalalabad town.
Oh, no.
In Jalalabad. Liquor was concealed in scrap on a truck.
Oh, no.
Not sure exactly why we had that breaking story, because Jalalabad? Really?
I mean, people want to know what's going on over there.
Terribly relevant.
It's been a while since we...
since we talked about
people want to know.
Jalalabad.
You got it.
Yeah.
And so...
and so there it is.
What was it again? Bottles of whiskey?
Bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't need the...
You really want to know?
I just want to hear... No, I just want to hear.
The police were alerted about an abandoned truck parked along the some kind of road on the outskirts of Jalalabad.
Right.
Upon searching 260 boxes, it contained 3,120 bottles of whiskey concealed in the scrap. And I guess, is that illegal in Jalalabad?
I would imagine. I'm kind of hurt right now. I don't really care about the details of the story. I literally just wanted to hear Tom Brokaw say bottles of whiskey.
Bottles of whiskey.
There we go. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Okay. You all right now? Happy?
I'm very happy.
All right.
I'm very, very happy.
Again, that all happened in Jalalabad. Jalalabad. All right, continuing our theme here on the whole climate situation, which is so delicate. It's crisis. We're in crisis right now. All you have to do is, and this is what they often say, just look out your window. Look out my window, and what am I going to... What is the crisis? I'm going to see a beautiful, sunny spring day in Texas? That's what I'm going to see. Of course, last week we did have quite a storm, a hailstorm like I've never seen before that ruined my roof Did it wreck your roof? Have you had somebody out to?
My roof was wrecked the first storm. Never
Yeah,
mind the second or third one. I'm still waiting to get that repaired. I've had 2 cars in the shop for a month tomorrow.
Oh,
because
you still
they're
don't have them back?
slammed. I was talking with the guy, and because the weather's been so great for the last year, whatever, and then coronavirus and all this stuff, he said that they were doing about 20% of their normal business, and now with this storm, it is, I forgot what the percentage he said was, but they are just buried because there's been so much damage.
We had, I bet 15 roofers showed up at our door.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun day. The day after.
It was 3 days for us. It was day after day after day of probably 5 a day showing up. And I'm like, okay, we don't need another roofer!
Okay. Well, so no, that's kind of
Really
funny.
pissed by the end of it.
Because I was actually in communication a week or so before with the roofer I use, and he was going to do a project for me. Anyway, phone rang. It was him during the show the day after the storm, and he was calling me. And anyway, I called him back right at 8 o'clock Central, and he's like, hey, since we're going to go ahead and do that other thing, you mind if I go ahead and put my sign in your front yard here?
Oh, please.
And, yeah, and I said, will you take off, because I'm always wheeling and dealing, baby. I was like, can you take off the, I forget how much. Anyway, he's like, sure. And plus, you know what this is going to do? It's going to keep people from knocking on your door at all hours of the day for the next week.
That's a good point.
And
because my roofer guy didn't put a sign in the yard.
See, and so mine's been out there for 2 months now. But I come home from work that day, and literally it's like battle stations. Every yard in my neighborhood has a sign from a roofer in it. You could go around and keep score to see who's winning. Because it's insane.
They're so obnoxious.
And I feel so bad. That storm we had the other night, there were roofs that were half finished because it wasn't supposed to rain at all. They can't even, the weathermen can't tell us the weather is going to be 3 hours from now.
Right.
How the hell are they going to know a century from now?
Right.
And these poor roofers, they're up there, they're hammering in the dark like, oh my gosh, can we get this done in time? It's a nightmare.
Plus, one of my neighbors just had their roof done and then got pounded by this latest.
Boy.
And it's screwed up now.
And you know what happens there? That's where you and all your neighbors and all that zip code, your rates are going to jack up for your insurance in 6 months. Pay for this nonsense double up roof stuff.
Yeah. And don't think they're not up there already. I can't afford any more jacked up. I can't. No, that can't happen. I'll have to sell the house if it jacks up any more than it is.
I've said the same thing. I've said the same thing. Taxes, insurance.
Between property tax and insurance?
We're selling this house. We're going to live out of Winnebago.
I will say this. Between property taxes and insurance, it's more than my mortgage payment. It's more than the principal and interest.
I think that's... yes.
It's at least as much.
Seriously, you're right.
It's at least it doubles my payment.
I can't take it.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
I will spare you details, but I have been fighting a mortgage battle for literally 11 months as we speak. It has been a nightmare because I decided I would refinance, and I will spare you details, but basically through complete and total incompetence on the other end, my payment is set to be higher.
Oh, for gosh sakes.
And I mean quite a bit.
Really?
Oh, trust me.
After refinancing?
Pat.
Oh, that sucks.
Pat, this has elevated to the
Did you tell him never mind?
This is elevated to the office of the CEO of this company.
Oh, wow.
I am in contact.
That sucks.
Yes. And so...
Because I'm doing the same thing. I'm refinancing. It's also taken almost a year.
Yeah, it's...
Because of COVID, I don't know what it is. They keep blaming COVID. I don't know what that has to do with it. Is everybody in your mortgage department sick? What the hell?
The long haulers.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, no, my issue isn't the COVID, and that's never been used as an excuse by this company. It's been, and they've admitted, seriously, the incompetence of the employees that handled it on every step of the way. In fact, none of them are with the company anymore. And I'm like, just take me back to the way it was, please.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm not happy.
I've never heard of that.
At all.
I've never heard of that.
And either have they.
All right, let me tell you about Rough Greens. We've been talking about this for a while. It's a powder that you sprinkle over your dog's food because your dog's food is dead. You want living things in it. You want vitamins and minerals and probiotics, omega oils, that kind of stuff that makes your dog healthier and more active. And most dogs, mine certainly does, loves the taste of this stuff. In fact, she won't eat her dog food without it. Glenn's dog is the same way. With Stu's dog, same thing. Now, there are dogs who don't get it, I guess. They don't take to it immediatally. Keith's dog didn't.
My dogs
We're trying to have it checked right now.
Yeah,
we're going to have it checked for faulty taste buds.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I guess it does take your dog a little while to get used to it. So what Rough Greens is going to do is send you a free bag. A free bag of Rough Greens for your dog to try out. All you have to pay is shipping. Just go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Or call 833-ROUGH-DOG, RUFF dog. 833-ROUGH-DOG or roughgreens.com.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
Before we took a detour there and got off on a tangent, we were telling you about John Kerry's investment in oil and gas stocks. Oh, and we got to go to the phone real quick.
Oh.
Let's do that. Let's take care of Rena in Michigan. Hey, Rena, you're on the Blaze.
Hi, Pat. It's
Hi.
actually Renee.
Oh, okay.
How do you spell it?
How do you spell Renee?
RENA.
Oh, you do?
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. So
my bad.
they
Sorry.
spelled it right.
Sorry, Daniel.
All right, Renee. What do you have for us?
I have bingo on the 5th row.
There you go. Okay. It starts off with
Brokaw Jalalabad.
Jalalabad. Yes, that's why we just did that ridiculous story. All right.
Jesse, when he said look.
Okay. Look.
Any condescending lib video.
Right. We've seen plenty of those.
There were several. You won't get this content on any other show.
Right.
And then fear leads to anger.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Yes. All right. Good job, Renee. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, so she wins, what, $35 to spend at patheadshop.com.
Patheadshop.com. I like that. All right. Thanks a lot, Renee. Did they get all your information? You got the way to do it and how to get the $35? Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate that so much, guys. Have a great day.
You too. What a sweetheart.
That was sweet.
Okay, so John Kerry has made a little money in the meantime. You know, he was Secretary of State for a while. What a horrible freaking Secretary of State. The guy who did the Winter Soldier hearing. This is the guy, and this is what I think of every time, and why I was kind of resistant to Falcon and the Winter Soldier at first, because every time I hear Winter Soldier, I think John Kerry and those freaking hearings where he lied about the troops in Vietnam, ravaged the countryside of South Vietnam, razed villages in a fashion reminiscent of Genghis Khan, and generally, anyway, he was you take that guy and you make him Secretary of State. Unbelievable.
Yeah, just remember, he was one state away, the state of Ohio, which was competitive.
Could have been president.
In 2004, could have been president.
So, Kerry previously invested in Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation.
Say what now?
Wait, what?
The climate czar?
Mr. Climate Conscious Climate Czar? Yeah. Previously invested in Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation, Duke Energy,
Whoa.
Cimarex, Dominion Energy, Excel Energy, Exelon Corporation, Valero. Isn't Valero the Venezuelans?
Oh, is it? No, that's
gas
it.
company. Oh, okay.
Is Valero too?
No, maybe Valero. I'm not sure.
I'm going to find out.
I'll have to circle back on that one.
Yeah, we'll circle back on
San
that
Antonio.
one. Thank you.
Weird.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
maybe that's the San Antonio
I mean, there's
one.
parts of San Antonio that remind me of Venezuela. So,
Right.
Yeah.
WEC Energy Group. So this is according to the Office of Government Ethics filings obtained by Axios. Kerry sold off his entire stock portfolio, which was worth between $4.2 and $15 million. Prior to, when did he do that? A long time ago, right? Because he's been on the environment for a long time.
He's big on it.
Surely he wasn't making money off these evil, fossil fuel companies, right?
And then he saw a chance to serve, so he sold off that.
Yes.
He probably donated $15 million to charity instead of enjoying the creature comforts that come with that money.
So he made $15 million, and then he joined the Biden administration again. He sold it off just prior to joining the Joe Biden administration. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Texas-based Valero Energy Corporation was recently ranked 5th worst emitter of greenhouse gases.
All right, way to go, top 5.
Despite having just 14 facilities.
Now that's good. That's good right there.
Or as Tom Brokaw might say, facilities. Facilities. The San Antonio Current reported on that in December. The company was ordered to pay $2.85 million in civil penalties in October for Clean Air Act violations. And he just got rid of this stuff. Plus, you know what's going to happen? He's going to skate on this Iranian thing.
Yep.
Where he supposedly told the Iranians about 200 times, literally 200 times, the Israelis had attacked them.
I mean, what in the... this guy, evil.
Yeah. That's a good word for it.
He is an evil and he's a hypocrite.
Yeah,
I don't know which one is higher up there on the charts for him, but boy, he sucks.
And just to give you an idea of what he said, when, by the way, he didn't have firsthand evidence of any of this stuff. He talked to people. He wasn't even in Vietnam when he got this information. He was here, and somebody told him about this stuff.
They had personally raped, cut off ears, cut off heads, taped wires from portable telephones to human genitals and turned up the power. Cut off limbs, blown up bodies, randomly shot at civilians, raised villages in a fashion reminiscent of Genghis Khan,
shot cattle and dogs for fun, poisoned food stocks, and generally ravaged the countryside of South Vietnam. Despicable. Really despicable.
But how was the countryside dressed, Pat?
Scantily, Keith.
Had it coming.
So, yeah. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here. Fatty McFats tweets. Can you do Tom Brokaw and Al Gore having a conversation?
Oh, can you?
No. I don't think I can.
You're not Fatty McFat's monkey?
No. I'm not a trained monkey. Would I love to do that? Sure. May I do that some other time? Yes. But not right now, because I'm not a trained monkey.
All right.
Watcher 17 Gray Jedi tweets, there's a hole in my wallet where some cash once was. Al Gore's making money. That's great.
There's a hole in the sky where the tree once was. Somebody's making money.
Proud Mr. Graybeard. Screw Jalalabad. I want to know what's going on in Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
Pull every last one of your soldiers, spies, security advisors, trainers, attachés,
interior
and so on,
decorators
out of every Muslim land from Afghanistan
to Zanzibar.
Wow.
There you go.
I didn't realize that Al Gore was part of the Taliban. There's a little similarity there.
So the lisping,
yeah, Gaddafi the American, and Al Gore.
All right, 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Texas Superfood. If you're not getting a lot of fruits and vegetables in your life, for me, I don't have a problem with most fruits. Vegetables, just can't do it. I try. My wife keeps saying, just keep eating them, and eventually you'll like it. No, it doesn't work like that. Every time I eat them, they taste nasty to me, so I don't do it again. I mean, why? Why would I continue to when I just don't like it? Anyway, there's a way to get that nutrition. The power of nutritionally dense fruits and vegetables. It's Texas Superfood, which is organic, vine-ripened, antioxidant-rich, raw natural fruits and vegetables. It's fantastic. Every ingredient in this has been certified and selected to make sure that you get the optimal nutritional intake. All the fruits and vegetables used are grown organically from locally sourced farms. It's the highest quality nutritional supplement you can get on the market. So go to TexasSuperfood.com. Check it out today. TexasSuperfood.com.
Pat Gray
talking about the cultists on the left. CNN ran this article with just, I don't know, it tripped a switch for us the other day. When they were calling the GOP cult members, they were cult-like, dangerous cult-like behavior because they're so committed to Trump. Why don't you look inside yourself just a little bit? Because there's a lot of cult-like behavior on the left. Check this guy out who is walking around town. Looks like he's outside too, right? He's outside, I think, wearing what he's wearing here. Not just a mask. No. That's not enough for this guy to wear a mask. He's breathing free, clean, fresh greenhouse air.
Oh, yeah, greenhouse guy. Look
at this.
Is this a COVID or an eco statement, or both?
Probably both.
Oh, he's got...
It's a portable oasis.
Uh-huh.
Lavender, rosemary, and thyme is in there.
So imagine an aquarium sitting on this guy's shoulders.
It's just...
And his head is in there.
Ridiculous.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Of this portable oasis. It is a small greenhouse which I walk around town with, and which has the advantage of allowing me to be in my own bubble while being in the world.
What
loser.
A moron. He was inspired to revisit the idea of putting this portable greenhouse on his head.
An oasis is a place of calm,
Yeah.
tranquility, cool,
Sure.
and well-being in the desert. Here, the fact of having an oasis containing medicinal plants means I'm also protecting myself from harm coming from the outside.
No, you're a loser, man. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Somebody needs to break that to him. That's ridiculous. I hope there's bugs in there, like crawling into his collar and down his shirt and stuff. Ants and stuff.
Too.
Like, wow, thanks for the oasis, sucker.
How's that oasis treating you now? Huh? You like that?
I could just, and I am not saying this should happen. Absolutely not. But you could see someone coming up from behind him and just like cracking him over the head with a bat. You know, and just shattering. Where's your oasis now? But see, that's what his side does, not ours.
Right. But it gets worse. I mean, there's some weird stuff going on, like this Buddhist monk in Thailand who didn't wear an oasis on his head.
No.
What he did instead was chop off his head. Chopped off his own head on his birthday.
Oh, wow.
In the hopes that that sacrifice would bring him luck in the afterlife. I wonder how that worked out for him.
I don't.
Wow.
I mean,
68 years old. He's been a monk for 11 years. He built a guillotine near a religious statue.
No.
Portraying the god Indra, doing the same thing. Oh, okay. Well, if
so someone
his
set
idol
the
did
example
it, so
a couple thousand years ago.
Right. So the monk's nephew, who found the decapitated body, that had to be pleasant for him.
Oh, no.
Said he had left a note behind. It stated that chopping off his head was his way of praising Buddha. And he'd been planning this for 5 years now. His wish was to offer his head and soul to the Lord, so the Lord could reincarnate him as a higher spiritual being in the next life. Okay. Hundreds of the dead monk's devotees later descended on the Wat Phu Hin Temple in Nong Bu Lampu to prepare Thank you. To prepare his body for the funeral, placing him in a coffin with his head in a separate casket to be burned in the forest.
And wait, so this guy was a monk? Like, not the guy who chopped his head off, but the guy who is he emulating if he's Buddhist? What did it say in that? You said...
the god...
so it was a god?
Indra.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, you think you might find, if you want to emulate one, maybe don't go with the guy who chopped his head off.
Right. Now...
That seems like a rough...
They've got a photo here. I don't know if we have a full screen on this. I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's... it has his idol there, who chopped off his head, and he's holding it outstretched in his arms.
Like a statue or something?
Yeah, it's a little statue to him, and so he wanted to be like that.
Oh. So what if he gets to, what if you get to the afterlife, and they're like, hey, welcome, good job, thanks for being a good monk and stuff.
That's not what we were looking for, sorry.
But congrats, you now get to walk around for the eternity without a noggin.
So let's use brain cells before we post things on the internet. Thanks.
Ooh, that's a rough way to go right there.
It sure is. It surely is.
Now, wait a minute now. So he set up this guillotine on his own. I'm sorry, I'm thinking entirely too much of this.
Yeah, you really are.
But he's by himself? Like, what if it just, like, halfway does it, and then you're just kind of stuck there until your nephew shows up?
Mm-hmm. Pushes it all the way through to put you out of
your
misery.
What would you do? Would you be like, just please do this? Anyway, happy Thursday morning,
Yeah,
y'all.
a lot could go wrong there, really.
Yeah, that's
doing a guillotine on yourself. That doesn't seem wise.
Self-guillotine.
I don't recommend that. Let's not do that at home, kids. Don't try that at home.
Yeah, that's the takeaway from today's Pat Gray Unleashed. Don't chop your head off.
Whether you really like the Buddhist god Indra or not, please don't try that at home. Something else you might not want to try, because it didn't work out that well for this guy, but this is what you keep saying, Keith, has to be done. People standing up to the system.
I don't know that you want to make a scene. I don't. In fact, I wish Jeffrey were here. I gave him my Costco card because I just don't go to Costco now.
Because they require a mask.
Because of that
right?
mask thing. They put a sign up. I remember it said starting May 1st, and so this was like over a year ago, and so I knew, okay, well, starting May 1st, I'm not coming here, and so. Jeffy Scam here. He may or may not be a member that goes by the name of Keith Malinak now at Costco. Anyway.
He may or may not.
Yeah.
Okay.
May or may not.
So you're not sure.
Yeah, I just loaned it out to him.
All
you know,
right.
whatever. So this guy goes to Costco where he knows for over a year now there's been no masks allowed.
Yeah, and he did so. He went in without a mask, and here's what happened.
See this? I got 8 Costco employees. Is anybody tired of this tyranny?
No, listen to the sheep. No.
Tyranny. You love tyranny. You get out. You get out. You get out. No more masks. No more masks. No more masks. No more masks. No more masks.
There's one other person saying it with him.
No more masks. No more masks. No more masks.
Now, the fact that he's surrounded by the Costco Gestapo is a little much.
No more masks.
Yeah.
No more masks. No
but see, you got to coordinate better next time.
No more masks. No more. You know what the funny thing is?
What?
In 6 months or a year from now, you're going to be looking for people like me to stand for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's probably true.
Where's the Men Act?
Wait.
Where's the freaking Men Act?
That was Alex Jones' question.
Yeah.
Where's the men?
Where's the men?
Where are the men?
Liberty once again.
I need a man. No, he's right, though.
Yeah, I mean,
he's right.
Go in there without a mask on. That's cool.
And he had no support either. That's disheartening.
That is
Where
disheartening.
do we know what Costco that was,
I don't know,
or what city or state?
I don't know, but somebody in the background, I thought I saw like a Texas shirt, which we're fond of wearing here. I do not know though.
No, we're not done with this tyranny.
Yeah, that was
that
was gross. That's kind of put yourself out on a limb. You need to go with friends.
Yeah,
you need to go with friends. And
he seemed fairly alone. The one guy who was agreeing with him, maybe he was with him. I don't know.
So if I'm going in there alone, which I do go into stores alone, but not where that was California. Okay, well
no wonder
barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah,
there.
he's not going to get any support in California.
I mind my own business, you know, and I just don't make videos. But I know this is kind of out of order, but this is how you do it. Go to the grocery store with the people in the masks, the sheep masks. This is how you do this. You get all your buddies together.
Because these people are wearing masks.
This is coordinated. This is smart.
And they're wearing masks of sheep.
Creepy, but effective.
But they're making a little bit of a statement, aren't they?
Yep. They're just walking around and bad. You can hear them all over the store.
Bah! You bunch of sheep for wearing these masks.
Yeah, this guy just wants milk.
Seems to be the point. Look at that! There's a lot of them.
See? You get your friends involved.
It does sound like a flock of sheep, though. That's really good. That's fun.
Wait, what? I don't know what it's saying.
I don't either.
But there's like these couple of people there that aren't a part of this group. And they're just...
Yeah, sadly, almost everybody there is part of the group. I'd like to see how the other shoppers are responding.
So that's how you do it if you're going to make a big scene.
Go. Bring some friends.
Where are we going to be a year from now?
Instead, we got people like this woman who she needed more than a mask. She needs some space, apparently,
Home
around
Depot
her.
lady with the hula hoop?
Home Depot lady.
Oh, this is...
She goes into Home Depot.
Wait, what did I
with
just
the mask
see?
And
it's just 6
hoop.
feet on her little hula hoop. That's a little much. The
You
people
look like
that,
an idiot.
The people like that need to be shopping from home.
Right.
Get that woman a computer.
And almost every store does that now. They
Seriously.
do delivery. So, yeah, if you feel that way, why don't you just have it brought to your house? It's not like it costs a lot. Most of them do free delivery, right? Maybe you just give them a tip.
Well, I mean, I think Home Depot, you got to order at least $50. But I mean, you can't walk 3 steps in Home Depot without spending $50. So
that hula hoop thing, that's amazing.
I'd like to see her check out, though.
Then we got this person who wants people to go to prison for not wearing a mask.
Oh, gosh, look at this guy. This is outdoors.
What, I can't get close to you?
Anybody getting that close should be arrested for assault and under current circumstances.
Oh, so I can't get that close to you?
Terrified.
And walking around outside without a mask should be a 25 to life.
Yeah.
A 25 to life?
Yes. It's attempted murder walking around without a mask.
It's attempted murder. Wow.
May you live long enough to see your children die screaming
in pain. Yeah, I think that guy might have some other issues.
What just happened?
As well, but
Can we see the lady at the grocery store in her own little bubble? One more here. I mean, these people aren't coming back to our society. They're in their own world. They're gonna stay there.
Oh my gosh.
She's at Walmart.
No way.
Pushing this just imagine like a closet you'd hang clothes on, and it's encased in plastic, and her hands are extended, wearing thick gloves, holding the cart. How did we? It's over. I mean, it's over.
This is for a disease, by the way, a virus with a 99% survivability rate. You could, who knows? You could almost understand it if you're talking about Ebola or something that's with a high mortality rate. 60-70% of people who get it die. Not that 99% of people who get it live, and you're acting like this. If we ever had a really serious, nasty pandemic that killed, 60% of the people who contract it, can you imagine
And remember,
what would happen to our society?
Of the people that get it, 80% of those that end up being hospitalized are morbidly obese, or at least obese.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's no common sense left. It's gone. And now that you've seen Bubble Chick and Outdoor Mask Guy and
Hula Hoop Girl,
now you go back to that first video and you're like, dude, go do it. Do what you did. Shout alone in the Costco, because you're right. 6 months from now, it's going to be completely irretrievable.
Let me tell you about StartMail. This is a great email service, but free email services like Gmail and Yahoo, they're not really free. You pay for it with your privacy. All of your information being sold to companies who then continue to just bombard you with nonsense that you just don't want to be bombarded with. And since those companies have access to every email you send and receive, big tech does sell all of your data. Plus, they know everything you're doing. Well, I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. Again, you're not the one who decides that. Somebody else decides if what you're doing is wrong or not.
So, Pat, there's a free email service that I use. I emailed myself an article about some health condition. It had nothing to do with me. And I emailed it to myself. I kid you not. Later that day, I started getting the banner ads about that condition. I'm like, what this It's from them tracking you through this email stuff.
That's why I trust StartMail to secure my email. StartMail keeps my email private, period. Every email is encrypted, even if the recipient doesn't use encryption, which means big tech can't read, scan, analyze, or sell my personal information, ever. With StartMail, when you delete an item, that means it's actually deleted. It's not there for Google to save forever. And StartMail uses their own servers. They don't use Amazon's, which means they can't be put out of business like Parler was for a while. So here's the thing. Don't trust big tech. I don't, and you shouldn't either. Start securing your email privacy with StartMail. Sign up today. You'll get 50% off your first year. Go to startmail.com/unleashed. That's StartMail with a T. START mail. Startmail.com/unleashed and get 50% off your first year. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. CNN's running a banner right now. Fox propaganda host. Oh, man. Pushes dangerous anti-vax lies. Oh, okay, so it's Tucker Carlson. I wonder what he said that's reckless rhetoric. The propaganda host. Nobody... Propaganda that's dangerous is coming from the government, which makes CNN the biggest propaganda network in the United States of America. They're maybe bigger than Pravda in the propaganda department. I mean, non-stop 24 hours a day. Ugh, agonizing. Got some tweets here. Constitutional conservative tweets. At this point, I feel like Yoda needs to update. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Fear leads to anger.
There we go.
Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the Democrat Party. Yes. Yes. No.
Wait.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's good. I like that.
We're going to settle on yes.
I like that. That's where we settled. Kexi Cookie Monster.
Oh, nice.
Nah, I like that too.
That's fun.
And by the way, speaking of Kexi,
what? Tell me something.
We have a sale going on until Sunday. 15% off. 15% off the cookies for Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kexi Cookie Monster tweets, that dude will become the COVID cult's superhero. Terrarium man. That's terrarium man.
Look at that guy is a...
That's not a word I use a lot. Terrarium.
Terrarium? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That might be the first time.
Now, how would Tom Brokaw say terrarium?
He'd probably say it fine because there's no L. It's really the L's thing
that's not the response that I wanted.
NBC
Thank you.
Oi News talking tonight about terrarium man.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, see.
I apologize.
Yeah. Hero Elita tweets, there's still holes in his oasis that the outside air is still getting in. Yeah, that's another little issue, yeah. Tip over and capsize tweets, I have a feeling I'd get the same level of non-reception if I did that in Massachusetts.
Oh.
Which is getting more tempting to do by the day.
What, shouting in a store? Okay.
Yes. No more masks! No more masks!
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you need some help.
Need some help, buddies.
So, all right. We also have from Big Poppy, like Steve Day said, get a big group of 20 or more. Go into the stores maskless. Don't make a big stink. Just shop. That's making a point. I think that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
A little civil, not really civil disobedience, but a little bit of a demonstration.
I will say in Texas, at the Walmart that I frequent, for the longest time, it was about 10%. Wouldn't have anything to do with this mask nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd say it's about 50-50. Yeah.
Oh, really?
50-50.
Mask wearers to none. Oh, okay.
And everybody leaves everybody alone. People that want to wear a mask, wear a mask. People that don't. Nobody confronts anybody, and we go on with our lives.
Mm-hmm. What does it say on the front of the store? Does it say masks are required?
I honestly have no clue because I don't even look.
All right.
Sorry. Walmart definitely. I don't think they've ever said required. Walmart. Because I've never done that. That's not been a thing at Walmart.
All right, let me tell you about Omega XL. Here's something that could get you out of pain. And getting out of pain could really, it can change your life. You just feel better. You're less irritable, all of those things. At least for me, when I'm in pain, it just makes me a little bit edgy. And I had some serious pain in my elbow that was radiating down my arm. And I was skeptical at first because Omega XL is natural. And I thought, it's not going to help. It did. Within a week, it started to lessen the pain. After 2 weeks, it completely cleared it up because it has an off switch to the inflammation. And when the inflammation went away, so did my pain. If you'd like that to happen for you in your life, go to omegaxl.com/Pat. And to get you started, when you buy one bottle, we'll get you a second bottle free. So Go to omegaxl.com/Pat, or you can call 800-844-4888. That's 800-844-4888. omegaxl.com/Pat. Got some tweets here from Magic Missy concerning this shower curtain lady in the store. Does she take it apart to put it in her car when she's done?
Right.
You know, touching the outside of the bubble, the part covered in cooties and plague droplets. Then drive home breathing in all the cooties. Bravo.
Oh, my.
It's just, yeah. That's the issue with the mask. Who changes their mask after every use? Anybody? I have been putting on the same stupid mask because I just drop it in my car and I don't think about it unless I'm going into a place that requires masks. And then, oh, yeah, okay. And I have been using it for, 2 months. I'm probably going to get black mold from it.
I was about to say,
I don't know, something.
In other news, Pat Gray, a rare lung infection.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my. Be careful.
From Joe's butt mask, coming out of the pandemic, there will be 2 USAs, states that are open and free and states that gladly accept an overreaching government.
I mean, you got family.
Kind of getting there now.
Family and friends in whole states that are not coming back.
Caffeinated Texan tweets, our society is so screwed. The end.
So true. Yeah. Caffeinated Texan. That's the tweet of the day because it's so to the point and accurate.
So true. What else can you say?
I feel so badly for kids growing up right now. I mean, this is wretched.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. I heard a story from somebody who they were talking about their parents who live in Texas and are really anti-mask and pro-freedom, and they're about liberty. They went to another state to watch a play that their granddaughter was in.
Okay.
And when they came back, their daughter or son asked them, how was the play? And they were like, that's your granddaughter. What do you mean? Well, everybody in the theater was wearing masks, including the people on stage performing the play. So they said, so you couldn't see who was who. You couldn't tell who was saying what.
Facial expressions are paramount in plays.
And you couldn't hear about half of what they were saying because they were mumbling through masks. I mean, it's so stupid. It is so asinine. 888-900-3393. Yesterday, at about this time, somehow we got on the case of whether or not killing people is in the U.S. Constitution.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're protected in the Constitution from murder. I maintain, yes, you are. And I mentioned that so, too, are the unborn.
Right.
As a matter of fact. And we were too close to
running
the end
out
of the show.
Running out of time, and I
really...
misspoke. I said progeny. And
You're right.
I meant to say posterity.
But it comes from the protection, to me, one of the great protections in the Constitution of the unborn is right in the preamble.
I love it.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
I love it.
Do ordain and establish this Constitution.
You hit me with this over 2 decades ago when we worked together in Houston. So I don't know how long you've had this fun observation, but I've thought about that a lot in the last 20 years. I love it, man.
I mean, how does that not protect the unborn? That's our posterity.
Right. You can't secure these blessings.
No, if you killed them. So, yeah, I think that's pretty ironclad, but apparently we're alone on that.
So in other words, this is a whole nother thing, but I love it. I mean, it is less of a tortured argument, and I'm not saying it is, than the mental gymnastics that the left forces you to partake in to justify some of the crap they say is constitutional.
Absolutely.
So I love it.
Absolutely. All right. There's some creepy things going on with all this mask wearing, all the vaccines, all the tests, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about. I mean, if we knew about everything going on behind the scenes of how these vaccines are being made and how the tests are being made and all of that stuff, I don't think we'd want to do any of it.
Pat, I'm listening to this thing about the vaccines and stuff. This 2-dose thing was a complete mistake between Italy's calculations and Britain's calculations. And so they didn't believe the numbers that were coming from Italy. They're like, let's just cut it in half. We are real-time guinea pigs right now. That's all we are.
Yeah.
There's your mask. There's your example.
There's your masks. That's why your mask smells of feet when you put it on.
Look at that sanitary environment where they're created in the third world. Yeah.
There's filthy conditions, and they don't care. They're falling on the floor.
Gross.
Nasty. Okay, well, the same kind of deal is going on when you take a look inside a coronavirus test manufacturing plant.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, the stuff you stick up your nostril. Okay, COVID test kit. And
look at that. Sterile environment.
Look where it's being assembled. Isn't that great?
By kids in a sweatshop. On the ground. Not the floor. The ground. I can't take it. This is what they shove up your nose. So
I'm sure that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure they wash their hands.
Sure, look at that. Yeah. That's
yeah.
You think that those kids have unionized yet? I mean, what? I don't want to hear. This is a sterile environment. Oh, we got to reuse. We can't reuse this one. We've got to burn this now. Yeah, I think you could reuse it. I mean, it's been in the hands of a little child that picks its nose sitting on the ground in a third world nation before it got to this lab. I think we're okay reusing whatever is. I
mean, you couldn't ask for a more hygiene environment in which to manufacture these things, could you? You couldn't ask for it.
I mean, what do you want, right, Keith?
What do you
Come
want?
on. What do you want, man?
What do you want? Some sparkling clean thing, and it's all being done without anybody touching it? Is that what you want? What? What, like machinery should put this stuff together?
All we're lacking, Pat, is the "you're racist for playing those videos" comment. That's all. Well,
yeah.
You're saying that people from other parts of the world can't make these supplies for you?
Well,
you
no, sure. If they follow some safety standards, some standards of cleanliness, it'd be fine. But that clearly is not what's going on there.
We are
okay.
We are dumb.
Racist.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
It had to be said.
We're dumb.
Had to be
what
said.
A society. I mean, what was the tweet from Caffeinated Texans? We are so screwed.
Yes, that was it. Plain and simple. We are so screwed. So is Peloton, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
See what happened with them? Woo-wee. Man, they run a heavy marketing campaign. I don't know what they're spending on advertising, but it's got to be in the hundreds of millions. They're on all the time. And they're recalling all treadmills. All of them. It's 125,000 treadmills they're recalling. That's gotta hurt.
Pat, they spent $324 million in advertising in 2019, and then in 2020 they spent $477 million.
I knew it had to be in the hundreds of millions. They're on all the time.
Over $800 million just in advertising, and now it's send them back.
Yep, bring them back to us. That Tread Plus thing, it's too dangerous.
Oh.
It's fascinating, too, because at first they said, stop it, you're overreacting. Remember that?
Yep.
Just a couple weeks ago. They said, you know what, they're overreacting. If you just use these properly and lock them after you're done, they're perfectly safe. Ooh, not now. Here's what they are saying now. Here's the CEO, John Foley. Here's his statement yesterday. I want to be clear. Peloton made a mistake in our initial response to the Consumer Product Safety Commission's request that we recall the Tread Plus. We should have engaged more productively with them from the outset. For that, I apologize. Ooh.
Sounds like somebody's got a good lawyer.
Yeah. And the apology won't be accepted. Sorry, that's not going to mean anything to anybody. You're still going to get sued out of existence, I'm sure. And this sets that up completely. I'm not sure. I was stuck between two different things to say there, and that's why
okay.
it just wouldn't come out.
Welcome to my world. All right, mix metaphors and stumble over vowels.
That's why they set that weight to feet that.
If I was reading that sentence and there was a number in it, you'd be like, Joe, is that you? Oh, boy, he had a creepy line yesterday. Whatever.
Oh.
You want to see this, Mr.
Yeah.
Creep?
As long as we're on Joe.
What is it? It's clip number, I don't know. It's just a...
Guess what?
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 Grows the economy.
Grow the economy.
Guess what?
What?
Grows the economy. Guess what? Grows the economy.
He sounds like
grows the economy?
No. Guess what? Grow the economy. But the way Joe says it, he sounds like a serial killer. Guess what?
Grows the economy.
Grow the economy, or
grow the economy. Weird.
That's all I was missing was a little throat slash across his neck there.
Yeah.
The guy's a creep.
Yes.
And everything.
And there's some issues there.
At least he's not the president,
with the brain power. Yeah, at least he's got. He can't hurt us in any way.
It's not like he's got an important gig.
Nah.
So we're good.
Right. Just let him be in his assisted living place, and everything's fine. Right?
What percentage of the day do you think he realizes he's president of the United States?
12%.
12%?
Yeah.
You're going to go that high?
Mm.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I'd say 12, maybe 15% of the time.
Huh.
Do you think the White House qualifies as an assisted living
it does now.
Home? I think it probably does.
Oh, get this.
They got plenty of people helping him out there.
You know that they have retrofitted the White House with like handrails down the hallway, extra wide bathroom entries. Probably dude sleeps in an elevated bed, has a nurse call button. Oh, this is what's happening inside that place.
For going upstairs, they got that little electric seat, the chair that goes up the stairs.
Now, I can't mock that one too much because I kind of
I like that.
I kind of need that, and I want that. I would play on that thing all day.
No question.
Oh, yes.
Let me take a minute and tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust, because if you're buying and selling a home, doing both because you're relocating, you really need realtors that you can trust, realtors to get you through the whole process and make really good recommendations that you can trust. And these are the people that can do that. Glenn's people, this is his company, and so he's had his team really carefully vet all of these agents. If they can't find somebody they really trust in a market, we just don't have one in that area. But I think as it stands now, there's about 1,200 of these agents that we found that are just the best in the business. And they can advise you on things like painting before you try to sell, or replacing countertops, or any of those kinds of things that, the fashion changes every 5 or 6 years. And so I know my home is certainly out of date. Maybe yours is too. And they'll be able to tell you whether you'll get your money out of the renovations that you do. Because sometimes you don't. If you do the wrong kind of renovation and people aren't looking for that particular thing, then you're going to lose money in the long run. Real Estate Agents I Trust. Plus, they're all fans of the show, so you're going to have a lot in common with them. Go to realestateagentsitrust.com. Realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Oh, guess what? Herd immunity's not a thing anymore. It doesn't really apply to COVID. Don't worry about it.
That's what we needed.
No, herd immunity, that's a thing of the past. That's not for this. Why did you think it was a thing for this? Just because they said it was a year ago?
I mean, Dr. Fauci himself has been saying, we got to get to this certain amount of
70 to 80%
herd immunity.
Yeah. And now, no, not really.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
This is like the climate change thing we talked about last hour. They're wrong every time, and then you're supposed to believe them with their new predictions every time. Same with Fauci. He was telling us something completely different last year, and now he's telling us the opposite, and we're supposed to just lap it up.
Wait a minute. Remember now? Hold on. I'd have to go and fact check this. But didn't he start at saying we need this certain amount of herd immunity?
Yes.
And then the percentage kept going up, not down, right? Like we need to get up to 85%.
Yes. And now it doesn't apply. Herd immunity is likely a phrase that doesn't apply to COVID-19. While all have been encouraged to get the vaccine in order to create herd immunity, the goal of a communal protection to the virus has been faded by the nation's health leaders. Is herd immunity still the goal of the administration? Because as you know, Dr. Fauci, among others, have sort of backed away from using that term as a benchmark, according to Anderson Cooper. I think that I'll let Dr. Fauci.
Well, he's talking to the chief of staff. Is that right?
Yeah,
For Joe?
Klain.
Okay.
What's his face? Klain.
Got it. Okay.
And he says, I think I'll let that, Klain says, I think I'll let Dr. Fauci comment, obviously, on the science of that. What he's advised us is that it's probably a phrase that doesn't really apply here to this particular virus in this circumstance.
Oh, no.
Our goal, as you noted, Anderson, is to get to 70% of the country with one shot. 160 million Americans fully vaccinated by July 4th.
So now the goalpost, not herd immunity, but how many arms can we get jabbed?
Yeah.
As somebody just put on Twitter, a Pat had put on this morning, and I can't find it now, but it said, you've gone from sheep to lab rats.
True enough.
There it is.
Yep.
Man, so now herd immunity not a thing. It's how
Not
many
a thing.
people getting the vaccine.
Just not a thing. And a majority of people expect President Biden and state officials to keep mask mandates on for at least another year, with many expecting it to last much longer. What was the Biden thing? Give me 100 days. 100 days. Because these are the days of our lives.
Stick to the teleprompter.
Like sand.
Stick to the script.
Through the hour.
All right, get him out of
glass.
there. Get him out of there. He's melting down.
I'm sorry. I'm getting in trouble now.
Yeah, no pudding.
They
Get him
told
out.
me not to talk about
Salute the
days of our
Marines.
lives. Let me pick a dandelion here for my wife. Is there a dandelion nearby?
Yeah, just
they're pretty.
Get him out.
They're pretty, and so is she.
Let's go.
So is Dr. Jill Biden. I wish I.
Who's running point on getting the president out of there?
I wish I could kiss her.
No.
Here. Oh, here's a. Wait, there's a dandelion.
No, get him out.
I'm gonna give it to this pretty girl.
Who's running point on the president? Get him out of there.
Is this my sister?
No.
This is my sister Jill. Here's Sister Jill.
This is gonna go
Here's
viral.
a pretty dandelion that's gone to seed.
Get him out. Get him out. Who's running point?
And then she is so enamored of it. She loves it. It means so much to her that she walks all the way to the stairs before she throws it away. And no salute to the Marine, by the way.
It just fell. Yeah, there was actually. There was a brief one.
Oh, there was.
I think we concentrate so much on Jill's hand that So it was very brief, but yeah, it was there to give him credit, I guess. But he's in his own CDC says no masks outdoors if you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
But they know when they know the camera is going to be there.
And they've ignored that completely.
Now, think of this, though. They take the picture at the Carter Center with Jimmy Carter, Rosalind Carter, and they want it to be a nice picture that lasts for all time. You know, you got a couple of presidents and their wives there, you know. Oh, well, this is something that'll be published, you know, down the line probably, whatever. Ditch the masks, indoors, old people.
Right.
And that's fine. But, oh, crap,
So
here's
weird.
a camera that's going to show up on the evening news, whereas this picture probably will just be for the archives.
And if all of them are vaccinated, the picture really makes sense, but that's not what they tell everybody.
It's a show. And if you're not seeing that right now, if your friends and loved ones aren't seeing that this is a show meant for you guys to perform for them, I can't help you. They're not coming back. They're not coming back at this point.
Here's how stupid it is. Kamala Harris and her husband are walking. He's walking her, I believe, to a plane. I don't know, Air Force Two or whatever is going on here. And when they stop, they kiss. But check this out. It's here they are, masked up, and they kiss through the mask. They don't even take the mask off to kiss.
Make it stop.
They kiss through two masks.
They're probably 4 masks. They're so
probably.
weirdos.
They're probably both wearing 2, so it probably is 4. And here's the thing. They live together. They're both vaccinated completely. And they're outside. And they still do this dumb little ceremony where they kiss through the mask. They don't even take it down. That is just asinine. What kind of insanity do we have to put up with?
A show. Period.
You look like an idiot.
Worse than that. I mean, how do you recover from this if you're... Well, we're so screwed as a society.
Yeah, it's over.
I think it's the...
It was good,
the
though.
tweet of the day. It was good. It was a decent run, right?
Yeah.
You know, we went It's 245 years now. What do you want? What do you want?
What do you want?
You want to go 1,000? What do you think? You're the Roman Empire? You're not. Okay, so just relax. It's over.
How did that end?
Not well. Not well.
When the dust settles, if it ever does, we're gonna have two countries. I don't know that they're gonna be joined. I don't know that Texas can connect to Florida, right? Can we shoot up to South Dakota too? It's gonna be an oddly shaped nation, but
why not? But
it's gonna. We'll get there.
Some definite benefits to it, though, if that were to happen.
Yes.
Nobody wants that to happen, but wow, there would definitely be some advantages.
Think of the Gulf Coast, man. All the ports we'd have. We drill for oil, freedom, breathe the air there.
We wouldn't have AOC telling us about how dangerous that is, awful that is. Got to stop doing it.
You can have the Midwest where you grow the food. Oh, man. I like it. Let's do this.
Just gut check. Stop.
I want to be in whatever nation you're not in, sister.
There you go. Ooh. A lot of, just to let you know, and put your mind at ease about the vaccine, a lot of these immediate reactions to the vaccine that we keep hearing about, rashes, or you can't breathe, or somebody passes out.
A lot of reports.
Or a tail sprouts out your rectum. Whatever it is,
That'd be kind of cool.
The CDC has figured that out now. It's just that you have anxiety. Those are all anxiety related.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's not the vaccine doing it. The vaccine's not doing anything like that to you. All it's doing is protecting you. All that other stuff, that's your thing because you're
anxiety is what the CDC is saying is happening?
Yeah, you're over anxious. So calm down, people, would you please?
Yeah. Tell me
that. So great. Study published by the CDC outlined 64 reports of symptoms that took place at vaccination clinics in 5 states among people who had received the Johnson & Johnson. Oh, okay, that blood clot you got in your system? That's anxiety. Anxiety caused that blood clot.
I'm having flashbacks to Houston. Remember, I used to always have this chest pain situation, right? And anyway, it's a long story. Kind of got figured out, whatever. But I went to the hospital once, and I had this horrible pain, and they ran blood tests and all this stuff, and the doctor comes in, he goes, okay, you're not really experiencing this pain, you're perceiving it.
What?
No, Pat, I kid you not. Geez. I literally go, wait a minute, you're saying that I'm not experiencing it, but it just seems like I'm experiencing it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This guy was a whack job. I freaking ripped those things out, and then I left, and the dude like, okay, well, I've got to write your AMA against the medical advice. And I'm just walking out. I'm like, okay, write it up then, doctor. AMA. If you're telling me I'm not experiencing something that I know I am, I'm out.
It's unbelievable. So that's what's going on with all these vaccines. The most common symptoms, by the way, brought on by your anxiety: lightheadedness, dizziness, excessive sweating, fainting, nausea.
That's not really
vomiting, and hypertension.
That's from anxiety?
Yeah. Yeah, it's high anxiety. It's like a Mel Brooks movie or something. That's what it is. All right. Well, we will see you tomorrow. Jeffy will be here to help us finish off the week together on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.